Are you somebody who has chronic pain, or maybe you're dealing with an illness and you need to track some medical information? Well, I have a pain in my back that I have had for 20 years. Today, I want to talk to you about a pain tracker that I have created to add to my 2023 life journal. So stay with me. Well, hi everyone, I'm Crystal from A Crystal Clear Life, where we focus on planning, organizing, and living a more simplified life. I do that mostly with OneNote desktop. I use it to track just about everything in my life and store all kinds of notes and information. Today, I want to focus on a tracker that I am creating to track pain that I have in my body. So let's get into the computer and I'll show you the page that I have set up. Well, as you can see here, this is the pain tracker that I created for the month of February. Let me show you the one that I used in January. This one came from DCP Digitals, and it is part of the whiteout planner that I used last year. And it is a pain tracker that has a scale of 1 to 10 on the side, and then the days of the month across, and a place for the location of your pain, what symptoms you're having, and then just a big dot grid area and an outline of a body here. Well, I thought this was a great idea, and I like the way that Jennifer at DCP Digitals laid this out, and so I decided to make it my own, which is my number one rule or goal for this year, is I am trying to make my planner 100% my own. So when you get to February, let me show you what I did that's a little bit different than Jennifer's. First of all, here I have an icon that I got from PowerPoint, and I will show you those in just a minute. But the PowerPoint here, I decided to use the art, posable guy icon that's kind of cute. And I did a white one here to represent the front of my body, and then I did a black one here to represent the back of my body, okay? I also pulled an icon of a lady's head and shoulders because I am somebody who also suffers from migraines and various types of headaches, and I wanted to be able to record those as well. So I wanted a bigger face and a bigger head to kind of show that pain, okay? All right, now again, here across the top, I have the dates 1 through 15 on one side of the page and 16 through 31 on the other side of the page. And then I have my pain level starting at 1 at the top and going down to 10. Now, the reason that I have it that way is because I think about the more pain I'm in, the more down I am and the less I'm able to do. So I think about pain as being no pain on a high schedule and a lot of pain on a low schedule. So that's why I did my numbers that way. If you were to create this kind of tracker in your own planner, you certainly could change those numbers around, put 1 on the bottom and the highest pain at the top, 10 at the top, that would work fine. And then you see over here on the left-hand side, I did a section for location of where the pain is and what trigger might have caused that pain to start. I know that if I lift bags of groceries that are too heavy, that can be a trigger. If I have to do too much vacuuming or moving of furniture, that can be a trigger. And sometimes at my age, I just sneeze wrong and that becomes a trigger. So anyway, I wanted to write down what exactly caused the pain to happen. Also, I wanted to know whether the symptoms were localized in one particular area or if they started shooting. For example, my low back pain that happens, you can see represented by the green dot over here. My low back pain is often local, but then it will start shooting down to my hip and then to my knee and all the way down to my foot because that's where the nerve goes, And then when I go and see my chiropractor, she will ask me about my pain and where it might be radiating to. So I wanted to be able to track on this kind of tracker where that might be shooting to my hip, my foot, or my knee, okay? So one of the sections that I have here is treatment. And what I'm supposed to do for my back is once it starts hurting, I'm supposed to put ice on it for 15 minutes. So I have indicated there blue for ice and orange if I take an Advil to help with the pain. Then I have a TENS machine that I use, and I have that designated as red. If I'm resting my back, I have that as dark blue, and if I need to go and see the chiropractor, then that is yellow, okay? All right, now, how am I marking this on my chart? Well, very easily. Like let's say today I have some pain that is happening still in my back, and you know, I have this problem. I've had it for years, so it's nothing new to me. But I can come in here with a pen, and I can choose the thickness of the pen that I want and the color that represents the pain that I'm having. And I can come over here to the day. Today happens to be the 24th. And let's say my back is really hurting because, you know, maybe I did, you know, too much cleaning in the house, or I sat for too long or whatever. So I can simply put a dot there that shows that my pain is at a 7 level, okay? And then I can go up here to my highlighter, and if I've used some ice, I can choose the blue highlighter and give myself a blue mark. And if I took some Advil, maybe an orange mark for that, okay? So quickly, just by looking at my chart, I know exactly what treatment that I did, and they tend to be in progressive levels. Like I really don't usually have pain and go to the chiropractor until I have done the ice and the Advil and the TENS and resting. So, you know, they're in a hierarchy of treatments, okay? All right, so let me jump over and show you how I created this and where this actually came from, so that if you're interested in doing something like that, like this, you could create this as well. So let's jump over to PowerPoint. Okay, I have PowerPoint up on the screen here for you to see. And like everything else that I'm creating for this notebook, I am keeping this one PowerPoint to have everything in it. So, you know, there's a play around with my notebook with tabs on the side. There's my blank black notebook that I'm using for every page in my notebook so far this year. And then here is some of the stuff that I was doing when I was looking at playing around with the pain tracker. Then I decided to get serious and give myself a clean page and get started on my pain tracker, okay? So these icons right here are simply icons that I went up to the insert menu and I chose icons. And I typed in the word body. And when I typed in the word body, you see all of these various icons come up. You choose the one that you want and you enter that. Let's see. I am not seeing the one that I used here. So let's say, so let's search for art. And when you get into art, remember I told you I used that functional man. And so I chose him, and you say insert, and then you go back to your page and he gets inserted right there, okay? So I did that for this guy and for this guy, and you can see their graphics, and I also did it for the floating head so that I could mark head pain from my headaches, okay? This right here, this pain tracker, that is word art. So all I did was go up here to insert word art and picked what style I wanted. I wanted a little bit of a shadow, typed in pain tracker, and moved it into the location that I wanted it. It was that simple. This down here, this chart is a table. And so it is a table that is 16 across and 11 down. And I was able to make the table size so that they fit correctly on this page. And then I just added a simple text box out here to the side that says pain level. All right, and because in PowerPoint you can change the direction of your text boxes if you want to, I was able to put pain level on the side going up and down like that, okay? All right, moving over here to the left-hand side. All I did here was create a text box, and this is the word location, and you see that it is underlined. So in my home menu, all I did was use underlined text right there, which gives me that line underneath of it. And then underneath of location, I simply created bullets. And so, for example, I use the hollow round bullets to mark these spaces here. And to get them to be there with nothing next to them, I just typed the space bar to make the space there so that they would create those bullets. I wanted them to be hollow so that I could fill them in when I got it back into OneNote. I did the exact same thing over here for trigger. I have a text box here. And again, I used bullets, except instead of circles this time, I used these squares so that I could mark off the location, or just write the trigger for what was happening. I didn't need to make any marks on my chart for that, okay? The next box over is my symptoms, and again, I wanted to be able to color code those, so I used the hollowed out bullets. And then for treatment, the bullets that I used here are the boxes that you see here. Okay, and again, I wanted to be able to take my highlighter and highlight those in so that I could mark it on my in my OneNote notebook. All right, so very simple. Another table. Actually, I just copied the table next to it and changed the numbers from 16 to 31 and left 1 through 10 the way they were. Okay. Now, what I did, just like when I did my other icons, I've done weather and mood and all of that kind of stuff. I will leave that video linked up above if you would like to see that. But what I did is I simply came in here, hold down the select key, and I chose every single element that is here. And then I copied those, okay? And then I went back into OneNote, and I'll do this over here on the side so you can see. I pasted that in. Okay, and now I have a graphic that is my pain tracker that I can then put on a blank page if I want, make it bigger, make it smaller, whatever I want to do. Everything stays in proportion. So you can kind of see there that that's about the size that I used on my notebook page. Okay, now throughout this year, as I have created things like this, I have been saving them on a special page. So I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to go back to my year-long section, and I'm going to add a page that says pain tracker. And this is going to kind of be my template for my pain tracker. Okay, so there's that one side. Let me show you again in PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm going to choose, and holding down the shift key to choose all of these different areas. And if I want to, I can even go in and choose all of the colors. Let's see if I can get them all. Okay, let's give that a try. And we will copy that, and we will go back into OneNote, and we will paste that. And there you go. All right. And then I can resize it to exactly what I want. Hold down my Alt key and move that around exactly where I want. Oftentimes I like to line up the bottom and then grab the top and make it bigger, like that. Okay. Now, I didn't get all of the highlights perfectly, and actually the first time that I did it here in OneNote, these actually are ones that I drew on here. So let me erase this one and I'll show you. Okay, so all I did to do that is I went up to my highlighter, chose the blue highlighter, I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to choose the blue highlighter, and I'm going to come in here and just highlight that box like so. Okay. And there you have it. Now, when I need to mark something, you know, it's very easy just to go up here, get the pen, like I showed you before, and make my dot. You know, you can make it however big you want, and then choose the highlighter that you want to signify that you used ice, for example. Okay? All right, let me erase that data so I don't get that wrong in the long term. Okay? All right, so very simply, I just wanted to share with you today a way to customize your own planner by creating in this case, a pain tracker that I think is pretty neat. This reminds me very much of the chart that my chiropractor makes me fill out when I go. You know, there's on the computer screen, there's a little body, and I have to mark where the pain is and where it's shooting to. I have to, answer questions about whether I've used ice and Advil and the TENS machine, resting, that kind of thing. She also wants to know the triggers. So I think having this kind of thing in my monthly setup will be very handy to help me track that as I go. And I did have a headache one day, and I think it was because there was a storm coming. It was weather related, so I marked that here. So on my little lady's head over here, I have, right there, right up the back of my neck, that kind of storm headache was happening. Took some Advil for that, and it went away, which was great. Okay. All right, so I hope you found this useful today. If you did, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you have any ideas about what would be something interesting to include on a pain tracker, or if you have a pain or a problem, a chronic ache and pain that you track, please let me know in the comment and how you track that. And I just love learning from each of you about different things that we are organizing here in our planner in OneNote. Anyway, here's hoping that you can live a more simplified and organized life through better planning. I use OneNote. Until next time, okay, bye.